I'm Robin Pauc. I'm the director of the Tinsley House Clinic.
Robin, hi. Whilst we've got you with us today, I just want to talk to you, if I may, about some of the work you've had published and the books you've had published.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular, if we could start with the first book that you had published, Is That My Child? What prompted you to write this? And just give us a brief sort of overview of what the book covers.
Okay. Before I started the Tinsley House Clinic, I was teaching clinical neurology, and the one thing that I didn't understand was the learning and behavioural disorders. Talk to me about Parkinson's, whatever, I knew it. But the learning behavioural disorders were just a mystery to me. I rapidly discovered that in fact they were a mystery to a great many people, and this remained in place really until I had one of those eureka moments. I won't tell you where it happened, but maybe you can guess. But I suddenly thought to myself, supposing that these conditions aren't conditions, but they're actually symptoms, and they're symptoms that always will occur together, what we call comorbidity. So you've got a bit of dyslexia, a bit of dyspraxia, a bit of attention deficit. Now, if that was the case, then we should be able to tie those symptoms to very specific areas of the brain. Once we know how the brain is functioning or malfunctioning, underdeveloping, just not reaching its maturity, then we should be able to stimulate those areas of the brain and effectively treat the child. Now, the second breakthrough came back in 1995 when a very clever young lady called Esther Nimchinsky wrote a paper about what at that time was called spindle cells. Now, spindle cells, they're now known as von Echinomo cells. 15% of them are present at birth. The rest of them, 85%, develop in a window 4 months to 4 years after birth. Now, originally, they were described in a very small area of the brain. Now we know that they actually develop in 3 areas of the brain, and they're actually found in various forms in animals that have large brains. Elephants, whales, certain dolphins, the great apes. No other animal on the planet, as far as we know, possesses them. So you have to have a large brain, you have to have a brain that has certain powers. Now, at the present time, we know that the human brain has more von Echinomo cells and a greater concentration of these cells on the right side of the brain. Now, putting all that together gave me the starting point. Where do these things come from? Why could they possibly be happening? And all this information sort of was there. And so I put it into a book. And so the first book, Is That My Child, came about. And basically it explains, this is back in 2005, what the state of play was in terms of research. Since that time, I've published a number of papers on various aspects of brain development, the history of von Echinomo cells, how it affects things that happen in the brain. I then expanded upon one aspect of that, which was basically diet. And so we've got a book here, The Brain Food Plan, which expands on how to modify your child's diet, how to add supplements, how to make the brain, this growing, rapidly developing brain, how to make it as healthy as it can be. And then, after that, following on, we came up with the third book in the series, Could It Be You?, which is basically about what happens if you don't identify the problem and treat it in childhood. What's going to happen to the adolescent? What's going to happen to the adult? And so we've got this information for parents available at all good bookshops online, but also if you go to Science Direct, you can read snippets, abstracts of all the papers that I've written on this particular subject.